opportunities were going to be a little bit limited. So at about the 5-year mark, I started thinking, you know, if I'm going to really do something with my career, I got to find a bigger company. And I probably got to move out of Santa Barbara, and I loved it up there. I mean, what's not to love? You guys know where it is. It's pretty close to here, 45 miles or so. So I started applying around, and I actually got hired at Frito-Lay. And Frito-Lay is owned by PepsiCo. So I went from a nice little $20 million a year medical device manufacturer up in Santa Barbara to probably one of the largest employers in the country at that time. Now, if you know anything about PepsiCo, they work you really hard, really hard. But I would say that you learn a lot. I learned a lot, especially being a supply chain major or LOM major, because if you think about Frito-Lay chips, it is a machine. The customer is every supermarket in the country, every liquor store in the country, every convenience store, every vending machine. I mean, there is so much. It is just a distribution machine. And being a, kind of a young 20-something with a, logistics and supply chain degree, I learned a lot there. And I was kind of on the fast track for promotion, but the one thing that was bothering me was that it seemed like to have a career at Frito-Lay or PepsiCo, you were going to have to move around. And it's kind of like being in the military. Your next one's going to be here. They were talking I was going to move to Modesto or Beloit, Wisconsin. And I'm like, it's bad enough I had to leave Santa Barbara. I don't want to go to all these places. So I was kind of stressing on that a little bit. And one day I was literally sitting at my desk at Frito-Lay, and the phone rings. And it was a call that they were looking for my predecessor. I still remember the guy's name, the guy that had my job before me. So the call goes something like this. Hello, is Dan Whitaker there? No, Dan's actually been promoted. He works at the regional office in Pleasanton. My name's Paul Balzer. May I help you? Yeah, maybe you can help me. I'm a recruiter from Baskin. I'm a recruiter representing Baskin-Robbins. We have a really good job as regional distribution manager in Burbank. And are you interested? I'm like, yeah, I'm interested. Here, I'm just stressing out about my next move is to Modesto or Beloit, Wisconsin. Burbank sounds pretty good right now. So it's Baskin-Robbins. I love the product. So, and to fast forward a little bit, I took that job and I worked there for the next 12 years. And I will tell you that Baskin-Robbins made my career. But just backing up a little bit, you talk about number 7, getting lucky. You get a call from the guy that had your job before you, and you get the job of your life. What did I say? You get lucky, take it. I took it. Baskin was a wonderful job for 12 years. I moved up fast. I was the youngest director in the company. Everybody seemed to let me know that. 32 years old, director. Even of all the parent companies, I took a lot of crap about that for a long time. But I was director of manufacturing for a bunch of years, director of global distribution, traveled the world, worked with an incredible group of people. The products, I mean, what's not to like about kids eating ice cream, compared to, doing machine parts up in Santa Barbara for military. I mean, it was incredible. There was a time at Baskin-Robbins for about 4 years that our mission statement of the company, the actual official mission statement of the company was, wherever someone wants a treat, we will be there to put a smile on your face. I mean, it was just the coolest place. I bought a house in Burbank. I still live in that house. My son went to Burbank High. I built my whole life around that job. And I never considered for a day ever leaving that job. And I wanted to retire there. But one thing I will tell you, there's one thing constant in business, and that is change. Change seems to be inevitable. So what happened there was the company merged with Dunkin' Donuts, and which was our sister company. Now, they called it a merger, but let's call it what it was. Dunkin' Donuts took over Baskin-Robbins. The Dunkin' Donuts office was in Boston. I spent a lot of time in Boston. My heart goes out to the folks of what's gone on over there lately. But when Dunkin' merged with Baskin, which really was an acquisition, little by little, that Burbank and Glendale office complex started moving to Boston. So, inevitably, a lot of years went by, but inevitably, I was confronted. They offered me a great job to move to Boston, and here I go again. I didn't want to go to Beloit, Wisconsin. I didn't want to go to Modesto. I don't want to go to Boston. And especially my son, who, by the way, is a graduate of Glendale Community College and went on to UCLA. That's about the time he was, because he was staying out here. My son's my best friend, besides being my son. My wife didn't want to go. Everybody, we're not going to Boston. We're not going to Boston. So the family summit didn't go real well, and I didn't want to go either. So I left Baskin Robbins. I took a severance package and just left out of work. I was like, okay. The plan was I was going to retire here. I love this job. So in the 6 years between Baskin and Coffee Bean, I had 2 jobs. One, 3 years, I was VP of supply chain for a national formal wear company. It was a really cool job. And the other one, 3 years, director of supply chain for Pickup Sticks restaurants. But there was something about tuxedo rentals and Chinese food that just didn't do it for me as far as a career. So just started thinking about making another move. Wasn't in a real rush. Job was going great at Pickup Sticks, but I picked up the phone and I called a recruiter that I've known for years. We used to use her to bring talent into Baskin Robbins for many, many years. And I said to her, hey Rhonda, I'm thinking about making a move. Are you working on anything? And that old number 7 Paul Balzer luck train hit again. Because she says to me, it's funny that you called. Yesterday, the Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf did an exclusive retainer for me to find an executive to run their supply chain. Are you interested? Same question I had before. Yes. Went through a battery of interviews, and I took that job. And that was 8 years ago. And I got to tell you that I work with the most wonderful group of people. Raise your hand if you work. Now, this is how great these guys are. You think when the boss tells the staff, I'm going to speak at Moorpark College Friday morning, that's a license to come in late, to be on the internet, to do whatever. What do they say? We want to come. So I love my staff, and there's many of them. The products are incredible, okay? And I'm not just saying that because I work there, because Starbucks is terrible, let's face it. I have to keep that out. But we have a company position that we will be number 2 in size and number 1 in quality. And I've got to travel the world 10 times over. I've been to those 26 countries that we're in, all over Asia, Middle East. I've been to about 18 of them, and then just some of the travel that I've done in the pursuit of these great coffees and teas around the world, Sri Lanka, India, Latin America. It's just been an incredible run. And it's a really cool thing. So, you know, as I said, of those 7 business elements, I will definitely give myself credit for working hard, and I think you guys should really think about that when you get out there, about working hard. But I'll tell you what, I got damn lucky, and I'm very, very grateful. So, you know, if I could leave you with a couple of things, it really is that, you know, it's a big, beautiful world out there. You guys have a lot of opportunity in front of you, and, you know, my major suggestion to you, very simply, would be that just kind of think big, do the right thing. If you ever remember those 7 elements that dude from the Coffee Bean mentioned that one morning, do as many as you can, and I think great things can happen to you. Thank you very much.
Paul.